Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all having a lovely day today. So today we're talking about Christians who are feeling lonely during the holidays. If you're someone who is, even if you're not a Christian and you're just feeling lonely this holiday season or you're feeling depressed, I totally understand, and I wanted to talk about that more. By the way, I'm wearing this ugly Christmas sweater that I bought. I saw it in the store. Oh yeah, there's a giant cow on it, by the way, and the bell does ring. I saw it in the store and I was just like, yep, we're getting that. But basically, I wanted to talk about how the holiday season and what it's become, because I know there's a lot of Christians who have reached out to me who say that they feel lonely during this time of year, and people in general who I know the holidays are hard for some people, whether it's because they're grieving or whether it's because they're lonely or whatever it might be. So the way Christmas is celebrated nowadays is very worldly. The holiday season is a worldly holiday, and I'm pretty sure that most of you who celebrate Christmas, who are, born again believers, you would probably agree that a lot of the times that you maybe feel like you're missing out or you're feeling left out of things isn't really associated with anything regarding Christ. Rather, the things that you might be feeling like you're missing out on are maybe the romance of it all, or the warm and fuzzies, or the cute, fun, wintry activities of, the season, if you know what I mean. As I said before, the holiday season, Christmas has become a kind of worldly holiday. Like I said, people say happy holidays, and that whole atmosphere is, like I said, it's secularized. And I'm not saying this to condemn anybody who celebrates this or who maybe enjoys that, but rather I want people who are feeling like they are lonely during this time of year or depressed, I want you to know that you can have a fulfilling holiday season and a fulfilling time celebrating the actual holiday and birth of Jesus Christ, because at the end of the day, on the 25th, I know regardless of where the roots came from, that is what the holiday kind of has now been intended for. Unfortunately, now it's just turned into a more worldly, more, warm and fuzzies time of year kind of a thing, rather than, celebrating the birth of our Savior. And like I said before, I think a lot of the times that you might be feeling left out isn't so much about celebrating our Savior. It's more so maybe, again, the other activities with significant others or with, loved ones when you might be grieving. The whole holiday season really has become about materialism, romance, the warm and fuzzies. Like I said before, I'm sorry, that term has just been this is a very comfortable sweater, so that's why I keep thinking of that specifically, and etc. So while those aren't necessarily bad things, the whole Christmas spirit isn't really about Christ. It's more so about, something completely different, about, this, again, just kind of like being in the holiday spirit. And like I said, there's a lot of emphasis on family, which again, isn't necessarily a bad thing, but for people who might be widowed or grieving, again, you can feel kind of left out when people are making the holiday about something else instead of about Christ. Again, we see in holiday movies and TV, this whole thing about the Christmas spirit. But again, when we look in our Bibles, the Christmas spirit and whatever that is, that's not in there, first off. But, at its core of what, this holiday was intended for was to celebrate the birth of our Savior. And again, that's unfortunately just not what people are doing anymore. And that's, I think, why there is that kind of aura or, feeling of people being depressed and lonely and sad when it comes to the holiday season. Again, when the emphasis has become on family and gifts and all that kind of stuff, people who don't have people to give gifts to or to receive gifts from, or maybe they're losing family members, that becomes harder for them. And so it would make sense that during this time of year, there are a lot of people who are like, I really don't want any part of this, or people who are just kind of like, I'm upset, people who are sad when the holidays come around. And that kind of brings us into this whole feeling of nostalgia. The holidays bring back memories of often childhood, good memories, and so the whole feeling of nostalgia is kind of like a happy sad. I've heard, a couple of people describe it as, and it really is sort of like a yearning for the quote unquote more simple times when, Christmas morning, our only priority was, what presents did we get? What did Santa leave? There was an excitement around, Santa coming. There's really just a yearning for a time where you felt quote unquote happier. And so I think that during this time of year, it brings back those emotions. And so if you're already struggling with emotions of, depression over, not having certain things that you wish you had, or grieving relatives who aren't around anymore when you used to spend the holidays with them, again, that kind of extra emphasis of nostalgia, yearning for quote unquote simpler times is going to contribute to those, again, feelings of just overwhelming, yearning, I guess you could say. And here's the thing, a lot of times in life, we remember the good more than we do the bad. You know, when it comes to certain things, I remember during Hurricane Sandy, we were out of power here on the East Coast, at least where I am, for, I want to say like almost 2 weeks. I think it was 11 days. But and it was bad, it was bad. We were freezing, it was cold. Power lines, we couldn't drive certain places, When I think back to that time, I don't remember how cold I was or, how many trees came down. I remember our neighborhood coming together to support each other and help each other out. I remember, visiting my grandparents and being so grateful that I had a warm shower and, lights. I remember the better moments rather than the bad. And I think that most of us, when we look at our past, see our past through a fairly rose-colored lens. So it would make sense that when we think back to the old, better times, we remember the good that we felt, the happy we felt, we remember how good the cookies were. We remember the good gifts we received. We don't remember the things we didn't get. We don't remember, when we fought with our sibling on the drive to grandma's house or all that kind of stuff. One more thing, when it comes to the warm and fuzzies, I'm sorry, you guys know that I love that term. That's something you can have any time of year, realistically. And I think that, that is and the reason why I keep bringing it up is because I think that that is something that people yearn for and people want. And again, that's something that you really can have any time of year. It's not something that needs to be restricted to the holidays. And I think if we kind of embraced that, the good feelings, the positive feelings, watching a good movie that, makes us feel good, putting on a cozy sweater that makes us feel good, drinking hot chocolate or tea or whatever the heck, that is something that you can really do any time of year and doesn't have to be restricted to Christmas time or the holiday season. And I think that if we can distance those, we might feel a little bit better during this time of year. That's just my personal opinion. That's how I feel. Take it or leave it. If you want to light your warm pumpkin spice scented candle or drink your pumpkin spice latte or, put up fairy lights in your house and watch a nice wholesome movie, do that in February, do that in March. Do that in freaking June if you want to. So anyway, I really hope that this helps whoever needs to hear this. Again, I know it was kind of all over the place. I was trying to touch on a lot of different things, addressing feelings of loneliness and depression and, the warm and fuzzies and all that kind of stuff, nostalgia. But I feel like there are a lot of reasons why we feel this way during the time of year. I hope that you guys could still take me seriously wearing this cow Christmas sweater, but I just felt like being spirited today. So anyways, like I said before, I hope this helps whoever needed to hear this. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, do not ever hesitate to leave me a comment down below or shoot me an email at my email address, which will be right down here. Also, if you guys have any prayer requests, let me know those as well. Also, we finally are back to the blog. If you want to check that out, it'll be in the description box below. And as always, have a lovely rest of your day and God bless.